Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys a brand new video today, and today we're going to be breaking down a ton of stuff about Pokemon Unite. We're going to actually do a brief guide video on Mamoswine, the newest Defender character that dropped last night, and then we're going to talk about some new leaks, some data mine leaks, including new skins, and new character launches, including the release date for Sylveon, which is next week, by the way, and much, much more. So this is going to be an action-packed Unite video. I'm going to kind of put it all together, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Mamoswine's a super cool character. I got a chance to play a couple games with him and talk to some of the best players in the world about their thoughts on Mamoswine. So let's break it all down. Hit that like button down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and let me know your thoughts on Mamoswine. Without further ado, we've got a lot of Pokemon Unite information to cover right now. All right, so here is Mamoswine, and Mamoswine is the newest Defender Pokemon in the game, and it's actually a pretty interesting one. So it's got really, really interesting stats. I'm gonna break them all down and I'll put them on the screen from Unite DB here. One of the things to note is its attack at level 15 is only 325. Now, to put that into comparison, some of the premier attackers of the game hit 1,000 at level 15. So this thing is not a super offensive threat. It's got really good defense, really decent special defense, solid HP aligned with a lot of the other defenders. So overall, his stats are pretty good. But really what Mamoswine does is a CC monster. It's all about stunning the opponent's Pokemon. So I know you guys want to talk about held items, so let's talk about those really quickly. The first thing I think is Muscle Band. I'm going to talk a little bit about why Muscle Band is really good. But Muscle Band actually activates its passive 2 times, which is huge. Talk about the passive in a second. Focus Band for longevity I think is really good. I think Buddy Barrier is always a good team item. The downside to Buddy Barrier is you don't get your Unite move until level 10, so you may only get 1, maybe 2 Unite moves off in a game. I think Score Shield is viable. I think Attack Weight is also a viable option. A lot of people, myself included, were thinking Weakness Policy was going to be super good, but because his attack stat is so low, getting a percentage boost in your attack with Weakness Policy really isn't that significant, whereas Attack Weight is giving you kind of a set boost. So it's a little bit more impactful with Attack Weight if you can stack 6 scores in a match. I think there's still a little bit more exploring to do. I know some people were using like Razor Fang or Razor Claw, things like that. But right now I'm thinking Muscle Band is almost essential. And then, like I said, I think Score Shield, Buddy Barrier, Focus Band, and you could maybe argue Attack Weight if you're running Score Shield. So that's a really good rundown of Mamoswine's kind of held items there. In terms of its passive, this is where Mamoswine is really interesting. Its passive is Thick Fat, and what it allows it to do is get up to 3 stacks of its defense and special defense based on the amount of times you hit the opponent or you deal damage. Now, Muscle Band actually gives you 2 of those 3 stacks with just 1 basic attack. So if you hit them with just 1 A press, you actually get 2 Thick Fat stacks. Why is that? Well, Muscle Band has a secondary effect that actually increases damage, a percentage on top of the damage that you're already doing, so it calculates out that you get 2 Thick Fat stacks right away. So that's why I think Muscle Band is really, really valuable, because you're immediately getting that defense boost right away, and you're increasing your auto basic damage, which is something that Mamoswine really benefits from since he has such long cooldown between his other attacks. Now, a couple other things to mention. I mentioned the Thick Fat boosting your defense. Another really cool thing is if you use an Ice type move. Let me actually hop into a match so I can show some of this stuff, because I feel like it's really important to show you guys some of these little nuances of Mamoswine, because there's some really cool things going on there. So let's hop into a match, and I'll show you guys a little bit about kind of some of the examples about its basic attack and how those function. So one of the things I'll say is I would always take Ice Shard first. Ice Shard, my face cam is going to end up getting in the way, but Ice Shard gives you a pretty powerful attack kind of out the gate. And then you have access to Tackle, which is a pretty good move that has like smiting potential and a good movement speed. So my biggest concerns with Mamoswine, and look at this, you see this ice on the goal? That is something I'm going to break down here in a second. That ice in the goal is very, very cool, and it's key to one of the things that Mamoswine does. You can actually hit both these Apoms if you put it right in the middle. It's key to what Mamoswine does in the sense that you can actually freeze goals. So let me take a step back. So you look under my Mamoswine, right? Under my Swinub, you can see as this guy's going to come after me. I'm just going to drop Icicles here. As soon as you use an ice move, whether it's Ice Fang, whether it's Icicle Crash, whether it's Icicle Spear or Ice Shard rather, you immediately get a boosted auto, right? So if I hit B once, I hit B twice, I get the boosted auto, and then it has that freezing effect. So that's really cool. But as soon as I do that, I immediately get another boosted auto attack. You see the meter under my character fills automatically, and that gives me a boosted auto. Now, one of the cool things is you can drop ice cubes in your zone, and you can freeze your goal. You could charge forward, tackle, things like that. Every boosted audio does that. But you can use your passive to freeze your goal. Any of the ice moves can freeze your goal, and this decreases scoring speed from the opposing Pokemon trying to score. So that's actually huge, right? So a couple things I just want to recap there. anytime you use an ice move, you get an automatic boosted basic attack, right? So look under my character, for those who don't know. If I hit once, you see the one little tick, the second one, and then the third one is the boosted auto, and it actually freezes, has a small freezing mechanic. If you hit with all three of those, you'll freeze, obviously. So those boosted autos, it's all about comboing Swinub. You really want to combo it and get those boosted autos as frequent as possible. Again, I mentioned the fact that you can freeze your goal. This works with all of its different ice moves. If you freeze the goal, you see that effect to go over it. That goal freezing actually slows them down from scoring. Very, very big there. And then your boosted, like I said, does a small freeze, and then your basic attacks do more damage to frozen targets. So again, Mamoswine really benefits from getting those combos right. I just use my boosted, boom, I get another boosted after using an ice move, and you can combo those things up. Now at level 8, you get the choice between Ice Fang and Icicle Crash. There's still a lot of debate about which one's better, and then you get high horsepower Earthquake. So these moves all function in different ways, but you can use Icicle Crash here to drop big icicles down, and then you can use Earthquake to stomp onto the opponent. I'm gonna move my face cam over here a little bit. I think that'll help. But Icicle Crash drops this, and then again, I get that boosted auto right away, deals extra damage, and then you can stomp towards your opponent with Earthquake. And that Earthquake allows you to actually leap over different barriers as well. I'm not sure if you could leap over this one here. Looks like you can't, but you can leap over like a barrier like this one. So there are options there. And again, if that ice drops into the zone, it'll actually freeze the goal, and you'll see the frozen effect there, and that slows down scoring. Very, very cool. So I think Earthquake and Icicle Crash are probably the two that I like the most right now, but I do think there is some viability to utilizing Ice Fang. And also, watch, I use my ice move, get a boosted attack, I hit him even harder. Now he's frozen, and my basic attacks do more damage. So I'll talk about the other set as well, because I do feel like there's some viability there. But at level 10, you get access to your night move, Mammoth Mash. This thing is crazy good, dude. You legitimately leap forward, and you do 4 stomps, 1, 2, 3, and then the final stomp does the most damage. And that's scaling to about 500% of your attack stat, right? And then you just are whacking things, dude. You just hitting so hard with that. And you're invincible while you're doing that Unite move. Very, very powerful Unite move. And if you time it right, it can actually be devastating to the entire enemy team. Like, it's actually really, really good. So that's one thing going in Mamoswine's favor. Let me show you his other two moves, Ice Fang and Stomping Tantrum, or High Horsepower rather. Oops. All right, one last thing I want to mention on Icicle Crash before I kind of wrap that up is the big icicle will break on its own and deal damage to the opposing Pokemon over time. If you break it with your own tackle or with high horsepower, you actually increase the amount of damage that you're doing. And you break it and you have an opportunity to actually set up a freezing effect on the field, which is very, very cool. So that's something to make like note of, and I think it's like worth mentioning. We're gonna show you guys the other two options here, which are high horsepower. Which, as you see, he like charges forward and pushes the enemy, which is pretty cool. And then one thing you can do here is Ice Fang. You can pick him up and yeet him, which is crazy strong, dude. The fact that you can do that. It's a skill shot though, so it's very hard to hit, right? Like if you miss your Ice Fang, there's no recourse for it. Like you can't do anything about it. You just miss and that's that. So you have to be very careful about Ice Fang, because while I do think it's really, really good, the fact that you can pick them up and then kind of place them somewhere else, the fact is, look how much you could push all those enemies. So that's really good for defending a goal, much like Blastoise's Surf, right? That's where high horsepower comes in, is you could charge forward, you push an enemy, you stomp them at the end, and again, if you stomp the Icicle, the big Icicle from Icicle Crash, it creates a secondary freezing effect, and you deal more damage to frozen targets. I'll pick him up, and actually you can see I can pick him up, but if you miss that skill shot with Ice Fang, it's really, really bad, and Blissey actually counters it, dude. So that's the thing. One thing you can also do, see, I missed right there. I mean, that's a great example of it, is it's very easy to miss. It's very, very easy to miss. I want to see if he'll come back. I want him to come back. So one thing too I want to mention is you can actually Ice Fang and eject button. It didn't work though. I guess I kind of threw him wrong, but you can do that. Let me turn off cooldown and I'll show you guys if I don't die here. So Ice Fang and eject button. So you can do that, and you can eject button out of an Ice Fang and like throw them. So right now the community is pretty torn about what moves are best on Mamoswine, just being completely honest. I asked a bunch of people. I think Icicle Crash is probably better just because Ice Fang is completely countered by like any sort of full heals and softball Blissey and things like that, so it's very difficult to use. And if you miss, like I said, you can easily miss, and if you miss, you basically just wasted your biggest move. I think I like Earthquake more than high horsepower, but I think there's a lot of potential for pushing enemies off of points and dealing a lot of damage that way. I think the stun potential with Earthquake is really good. Right now, I'm gonna make the call of Earthquake and Icicle Crash being kind of the premier set. but I do think that high horsepower and Ice Fang all are viable. Like, this mon can definitely use those. Again, you just have to be mindful. If you see like Blissey and stuff, you have to kind of play against that. But a lot of cool little hit-em mechanics with Mamoswine. Solid defender. I think the consensus right now is he is definitely not crazy broken or anything like that, guys. I will say that. After talking to a lot of people feel that he's pretty balanced as a hero, but he's not like overwhelmingly OP or anything like that. So I am definitely gonna be playing Mamoswine all day today. I'm very excited about it. You can tune into my live streams at twitch.tv/aDrive and you can check that out. But I would say if you're someone who's really strapped on gems and he's not, like, Blastoise is probably better at this point, guys. I'm gonna be real. I think there's still a lot to be explored with Mamoswine, but he doesn't seem like he's gonna be like S tier out the gates at least. All right, it's time to talk some leaks now. We've got some leaks from El Chico Eevee, who did a data mine, and they actually show this one image here, which could be a new item. It almost looks like some sort of controller, like a remote controller. There's definitely like a joystick on there, and there's also like a button. So what is that? We don't know, but it's paired with some of the other items like eject button, with goal getter, and slow smoke, and X attack, and stuff like that. So there could be a new item. I don't know what that's gonna be, but we'll have to wait for a new update for that. Obviously, Mamoswine's out. We've got some information on the new data mine. We know on the 1st of the month, they're dropping the new Alolan Ninetales skin, which costs 2,500 gems. That's a pretty expensive cost right there. That's like a $35, $50 skin. So I don't know how I feel about that. I will say, like, I personally would rather them just charge an arm and a leg for the skins and make the game more free-to-pay friendly like they did with the super item enhancers. So take that for what you will. Sylveon officially confirmed through this data mine for coming out on the 6th, which is next Wednesday, a week from today. It's going to be our next 10,000 coin cost character. It is an attacker, and it's going to be very strong, guys. I feel like it's got a very good kit. I would not be surprised if Sylveon comes in the game and shakes things up a lot. And it will also have a skin, Poncho Sylveon, which is going to cost 400 gems. So in comparison, look at that. Sylveon's new skin is 400 gems. Alolan Ninetales skin is 2,500 gems. Now, it comes with other animations and stuff, but still. Some other outfits leaked, a new snow outfit. You know, you can see a couple pictures of that. We also got some other outfits that were leaked previously. The Firefighter Blastoise being kind of the main one. Blissey getting an outfit, or an outfit for Blissey in the character outfit, and also a Firefighter outfit that you'll be able to wear to kind of go with the Blastoise. So some pretty cool stuff there. Another Slowpoke outfit coming later this month. So Slowpoke fans, rejoice. You got a little Slowpoke outfit there. And then we also have some other assets and information. They data mined that there's a Lucario Halloween skin that might be coming soon. So we'll have to wait and see what's up with that. This could be, I don't know if this is the Riley skin or what this is, but this is the one from the movie. I didn't watch the movie, but I know a lot of people know what I'm talking about. So that could be the Halloween skin, and that could be coming. Hopefully they do like a big update for Halloween and do a ton of skins and things like that. I think that that would be really cool and a great way to jump into this game for a lot of people looking for great content. So that's pretty much that, guys. The conclusion on Mamoswine is a very strong defender with a lot of CC, but seems like it's going to be countered pretty hardcore by Safeguard Blissey and full heals hardcore. It's very hard to hit those Ice Fangs. If you miss, you're kind of put in a really weird spot. I think its passive is really cool, and it's got a lot of secondary effects that don't really get explained to you, like the goal freezing, like the boosted autos, things like that. So I'm going to be playing around with it. I'm excited for the character. I would say save your gems otherwise. I don't think that this is a Pokemon that is going to be at the premier part of the metagame right now. That could change, of course, but that's kind of my gut feeling right now. Also, shout out to all those data mine leaks and everything like that. Sylveon drops next week, so things are going to keep going for Pokemon Unite. Thank you so much for watching this one, guys. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.